Good afternoon, Muttonistas. I'm outside London's Euston station. Yes, it's another Cockney Odyssey. I've travelled back from Leipzig for our midweek European game for today's game against Arsenal. This is a massive top-of-the-table clash, so join me for today's matchday vlog. In case you're wondering why this is on my main channel, it's because although the copyright dispute hasn't been resolved as yet, I'm not actually going to show anything on the pitch today out of an abundance of caution. So if that's the most important thing for you, maybe you might want to skip this vlog. But I do hope you stay with me because we'll have the usual food content, the drink content, the pre-match chat, the post-match chat, and reactions from inside the stadium. Behind me, folks, is one of my favourites, the Euston Tap. But today, for a change, I'm meeting friends at another boozer near Euston. Never been in there before, so I hope they've got good beer. Okay, so I'm standing outside the Rocket Pub. Nice pub, great for watching football. Only problem is there's a lack of cask beer. I've got the Camden Hells, I think it is, keg pale ale. Cold, fizzy, refreshing, but not hoppy enough for me. I'm a bit of an old fart. I like my cask ale, so we'll just have one here and move on probably to the Euston Tap or another ale emporium. Well, Muttonistas, I haven't moved on, change of plan, staying here having a Hazy Jane keg, which isn't too bad at all. And the reason I stayed is that they've got Liverpool on the television and they're losing 1-0. So I'm going to watch the first half of that. And usually I'm not going to have that much time for a food segment today, so I will bring you a little street food item after we leave the pub, but I'm going to talk about the game first. I haven't heard the team news as yet, but of course the big miss is going to be Rodri. It's not a coincidence that the two games we've lost have been when he's been suspended, and unfortunately I fear that might happen again today, so I think they might edge us 2-1. I hope not, obviously, but while Arsenal are missing Martinelli and probably Saka, the drop-off is just not as big. When Rodri doesn't play, the drop-off to Phillips, who never plays a ball forward, or possibly Nunes out of position, who was woeful at Wolves along with Kovacic, it's huge. Well, maybe Pep Guardiola will find a way, but I'm a little bit pessimistic about this one. Right, Muttonistas, time got the better of me there, so I had to have something at the ground for a change. Now, I've heard good things about what's served up outside the Arsenal ground, so I went to the hog roast stand. I showed you a few seconds footage of the stand earlier, and I went for the pulled pork, the barbecue pulled pork. It might be a bit sweet, might be a bit spicy, but the other options were just roast pork or roast chicken, which might be a bit drier, so the pulled pork, I think, a better option. They asked me if I wanted cheese and stuffing, so I went for both. I'm not sure stuffing's a normal thing to have in this, but it's what they do. Solid fare, wouldn't say it's outstanding or anything, but the stuff outside a football stadium, as opposed to the hot dogs and burgers with stewed onions, I'll take that. And I'm honoured to meet possibly the most famous football vlogger in the world, Thogden, the man who reaches grounds that other vloggers can't reach.
Exactly,
And
that's what it's all about.
You know how negative I've been about City in this game. What do you think, Theo?
I actually went on another channel and I've already given my prediction. I'll be straight up. I said the same prediction as you. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 1. And it's genuinely because Rodri, people don't understand how much of a miss he is. However, after seeing the teams, I do now, if I was able to switch it, I think City have a much better chance. They've had time on the training ground to make up for what they did against Wolves. They did better against Leipzig. And Arsenal, they're going to go for it. They'll be attacking, but they're missing Saka, and it is a massive blow. No Martinelli and Partey, which people aren't talking about enough. So it's not an Arsenal full-strength team. I'm now going to change the prediction to 2-1 City. I've switched it round.
I hope you're right and I'm wrong.
Let's see.
Right, Muttonistas, the team news is out and it's very interesting. City have decided to stick with Rico Lewis in midfield after his stunning display in Leipzig. He's partnering Mateo Kovacic at the heart of midfield. Hopefully they can make up for the loss of Rodri, who I think is irreplaceable. Up front we have Haaland, Thogden, Bernardo, Alvarez. Not quite the same as in Germany because Alvarez didn't start there, but didn't he do well?
Go on, Mutton! Go on, City!
And at the back, Nathan Ake comes in for Akanji. Slightly surprising because I think Akanji is a better passer of the ball. Arsenal have had their own injury problems, and with Saka and Martinelli out, they brought in Jorginho, which is a slightly negative move, and Trossard is one of the front three. Who knows how it will go, but one thing is for sure, the loss of Rodri is just something I don't think we can make up for. Hope I'm wrong. And in case you're wondering, the beer actually comes from quite a famous brewery, the Camden Town Brewery. Unfortunately, it's just their regular lager, which is not my thing. Better than nothing, better than the 3% stuff at Leipzig. Goes without saying, it's a full house, the place is rocking. City have filled their allocation, bring it on, come on City. And it's fair to say the atmosphere in the away end is miles better than that we had in Leipzig. Well, we're 17 minutes in, both sides playing in a similar manner with a very high press, working very hard off the ball. Best two chances have come to City though. Rice cleared the shot off the line and Ake could have scored and blazed over. City's defence have dealt with everything that Arsenal have put at them so far, so decent start. Don't like this at all, 28 minutes in, it's serious foul play check. It's at least a yellow for Kovacic, and thankfully it's no red. So half-time, 0-0, a bit of a game of chess that was. Thought Arsenal possibly had slightly the better of it. Their press was very effective, and I thought some of City's passing was a bit sloppy. Kovacic, an obvious culprit there, not been passing the ball forward very well, although I suppose that's not really his forte. Even some of the defenders like Ruben Dias haven't been as crisp with their passing today, and I've noticed that Bernardo has been coming back and mucking in at the back, and is often the outball from Ederson. Also very interesting to see Guardiola taking up some advanced positions. That's something I've not seen that much, I've seen it a little bit. Anyway, Arsenal didn't fashion any great chances. City had a couple right at the start of the game, but otherwise all very cagey stuff. I don't think Guardiola needs to perform major surgery here, just a few little tweaks. And given how many people piled downstairs when the board was held up for 2 minutes of added time, and the number of people who'd been down to the concourse before, my chances of a half-time pint are looking pretty slim. Okay, amongst that melee I did actually get a half-time pint. One of the pale ales as opposed to lager. More my thing, not quite my thing. And I made the mistake the first time of going to the specialty beer stand. The general food and drink stand had more variety. Anyway, better drink this quickly, lest I miss the start of the second half again. Anyway, yes, I admit it, I was 3 minutes late for the second half after the time I'd used the loo and I'd had a pint, but thankfully I didn't miss anything. You don't need me to tell you this game could go either way. Well, controversial moment here. Arsenal have been pressing well, but when Thogden and Walker played a couple of flicks and got through the Arsenal press, it sent Rico Lewis through, who was brutally hauled down. He managed to get up and score, but referee Michael Oliver, who I think has been having a poor game throughout, stopped the play. So it's just a free kick. Johnny Stone! Johnny Stone! Johnny Stone! Great to see Johnny Stones back on the pitch. I thought Rico Lewis has had a good game. He's been hooked to make way for him. So Alvarez on and Doku on, Nunes on as well, I think for Kovacic. I think those are good moves. Very rare you see Guardiola making 3 substitutions at once. But I think Doku could do something against the Arsenal back line in those wide areas. Well, about 12 left plus any added time. It's going to take some moments of brilliance or a bad mistake to settle this game, I think. Both sides, A, have defended well, and B, they've not used the ball well enough in possession either. Well, a goal came and it was at the wrong end, unfortunately. Massive slice of luck for Arsenal. Martinelli hit it, massive deflection, nothing Edison could do about it. Right, Muttonistas, time for the post-match wrap. I'm back at the Sheepshaven Bay Pub, where they serve a mighty fine pint of Guinness, some say the best in London. And I know a lot of you gooners will be tuning in expecting me to be extremely salty, but that is not the way it is with me, folks. I have nothing to be salty about. These things happen, games can be won and lost by the luck of a deflection or whatever, and it's football, it happens. And of course, if a lot of it happens over a season, it could be, say, Arsenal or Tottenham's season, but it's a marathon, not a sprint, and this is not a season-defining result. And I'm with my friends Neeraj and Athena, who are Arsenal supporters, basking in the glory of their favourite result, a 1-0 win. And whilst the result was what I predicted, I thought we were going to lose, and I put a little comfort bet on, because I think once Rodri goes in that particular position, we fall off a cliff. 3 games suspension, 3 losses. Need I say more? The game was not at all how I expected. It was a very dull game. Both sides pressed pretty well, and both sides didn't pass very well and gave the ball away sloppily. And it was going to take something like that, a piece of luck, a wonder strike or a bad mistake to sort out who was going to win the game. I thought it was going to be 0-0, but, you know, these things happen. As for individual performances, I thought Rico Lewis and Kovacic did okay, except for Kovacic was making a very strong effort to get himself sent off. He is a seasoned old pro, brought in as a water carrier to probably help when Rodri isn't available, but again, for 3 matches it's too long. Lewis played well, he was hooked off on 65, and I don't think the substitutions did that much. I thought Doku might cause them problems down the wing. but his inability to get behind the Arsenal defence meant he was a little ineffectual. He got in a couple of times but couldn't deliver a final ball. Most of the game was pretty drab, pretty dreary. I think City had 2 good chances in the 3rd minute, and then I don't actually recall a shot on goal after that. Some that were blocked by defenders, but nothing clean, nothing that could have resulted in a goal. I don't think Arsenal had that much either. The international break is coming up now, which is a good thing for City. I think John Stones might be fully fit and be able to start the next game, which is home to Brighton in a fortnight's time. Bernardo's fully back in the first team squad, so some positives. Of course, we get Rodri back again after the international break. No coincidence, when he played in Europe, we won. But I think we'll hit the winning track again pretty soon, and there's nothing to worry about. These things happen in football, Muttonistas. Without further ado, I'm going to love you and leave you. Please remember to like, to share, to subscribe, to tell your friends, but most of all, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.